Hello, everyone, and welcome. Let me see how many people are there. Good evening, Naveen. Good evening. Yes, we're waiting for some people to arrive. Good evening, Priyanka. Good evening, Rana. Yes, we will wait for some time to let everyone come. Then we'll start. How is your day going, everyone? Is it good? Is it nice? Good, good, good. So, just as we wait for other people to join, I want to tell you all that Let's Upgrade has other courses with us. For example, we have Java and DSA course with a placement guarantee. So Let's Upgrade guarantees you a placement if you buy their course for 5,900 only. You will get a guarantee for this course. And for those students who are asking about the notes, you can go to the description of the video. You'll get all the notes there. And for a minute or two, we'll wait for other students to join, giving them time because yesterday some people joined late. Some texted me or to the company that we have joined a bit late. Can you tell me? So we're waiting for them. Good evening. Now, ultimate Godfather, what's your name? Can you put your name? Good evening, Bhaskar. Good evening. Okay, so first thing I want to ask you all today is, have you all installed XAMPP on your machine? Because today we're going to learn one of our last topics, I would say, and we're going to make a very small project. If possible, we could go to the direction of databases also. We will see in the lecture, it would depend on the time. I will try to give you the best. Shantanu. Nice, Shantanu. So I'm asking you all, have you installed XAMPP on your machines? Just give me yes or no on the chat. Okay, Bhaskar has installed it. What about other people? If you have not, quickly go to Google, search XAMPP, download it. It is a very small software. You can quickly go next, and install it. Because today we'll make a very small project. I'll try to give you little bit information today. And as Let's Upgrade has texted, you guys have to mark your attendance. You have to go to the link here, or you can go to the description and you can check the link there. Okay, so I think people have joined, and now we will start our course. So I am Aditya, I'll be your tutor, as you all know. And today we're going to study functions, scope, validation, and we're going to make a small project in PHP. First topic, functions. So in PHP, you can create your own functions. What are functions? Functions are a set of statement, a block of statement, which can be repeatedly used. So suppose you have to create users, or you had to create, suppose, ID for multiple times. You might create a function that generates an ID, saves an ID, and put it there and use it throughout multiple variations, multiple pages. So functions are very helpful to reduce the amount of code you write, and in turn that speeds up the process. Number two, it helps us in debugging because it's a one central location. If there is error, we'll check that location. Yes, the function is right, then we'll check where else it could be. So there are a lot of benefits. And in PHP, we have a very simple syntax. We write function, then we write function name, whatever name we want, double brackets, and then inside the quotation, we write the code. This is the syntax. Hope you could see. This is the syntax. Okay, someone is writing, why should we learn PHP? Listen, I have told you that in very big detail in the day one. I'll recommend you to go to that lecture and you will get good, nice information why you should learn PHP. Okay, so now we will learn about PHP arguments. I'll go to the code part also, but let me tell you. So whenever there is a function, we can pass arguments to that function. Suppose you want to use a argument. Suppose you want roll number input, you might need class as input, you might need name as input. So you can take inputs also. Okay, so we have an idea, okay, functions are there in PHP, we can use functions. So let's directly go to the practical part. I'll open localhost. So localhost is opening up. So till then we'll write the function functsion as I said. Okay, first we need to start PHP first of all, and then we close it, and I'll write a function inside it. We don't need public, We will name it, suppose, student, and we want something to be passed in it, suppose roll number. And then we will write whatever we want to write inside it. So let's say for now we will just print the roll number which we got. This is a very basic way. Okay, you have this function, you name it, whatever input you want to take, you take the input, you do whatever logic you want to build, and this is how it is created. Okay, I hope you got it. So now we will create a local host very quickly. Not create, we'll open the localhost. Inside localhost, I've made file called function.php. I hope this is the exact name. This is the function right now. You see, you don't have anything on the screen. The reason is you can create a function, but it won't run by default. Whenever you write another type of code, any block of code or anything, it runs by default. It would by default go on and run. But in case of functions, it does not runs by default. You need to call a function to run it. Okay, so now we will call a function. How to call a function? It is very easy. You just type the name, then you pass in the data you want to pass. Suppose the roll number is 1. So what function does, it takes the roll number and prints the roll number. That's our function is doing. So what it should do is it should print. So PHP is very boring, but your explanation made it interesting. Okay, thank you. Uh, Student is the function. We put in the data and we print the data. That is it. It's very simple. Okay, now we'll refresh it and you'll see one. You get it? How to create a function. Very basic. Write function. It's a keyword. Name the function. Pass parameter. Whatever parameter you want to take as an input. Write it there and that's done. You got basics. What is function? How to create a basic function? Everyone got it? Type quickly yes in chat if you get it. Okay. So as we were here on the functions and we were discussing this, we discussed arguments and I showed you how to use arguments. In PHP, as I told you, we don't have strict data types. I told you PHP is very smart. It does type juggling and manages data types by itself. But sometimes you want to make it strict. You want it should do what you want. It should take inputs exactly as you want. So to make sure that PHP is strict, you need to declare strict types is equal to 1. You need to declare it in the PHP. If you want strict data types, you need to declare it. Okay. Now, in our case, so here is a very different example. We will talk about our case. In this example, we have taken input F name, that is first name. But we took a very different route here. We created a roll number example. So in roll number, we want it in integer. Okay. So we will type int. Now, if I try to pass a string, it still functions. The reason is, as I told you, PHP is not strict. It does type juggling. In type juggling, what happens is, even though I have sent an integer inside a string, it is smart enough to analyze, okay, this is a string, but data inside is an integer. So I think this is going to be correct. And it does its conversion and does your work. But if you want it to be very specific, very strict, you need to mention it here. What to mention? Declare declare. What to declare? You have to declare strict types equal to 1. Okay. STRI strict types equal to 1. So now we have declared strict strict underscore types strict types 1. We will see if this functions the same. You see, it gave me an error. What is the error? Error says uncaught type error. Type error means we have given a wrong data type. Very simple. Inside a student function where argument number 1, which is roll number, must be of type integer. String is given, called in this file at this line, defined in function.php, and there are a lot of other information, and this is your error. Okay, how to solve the error? Very easy. We need to pass in the integer because we mentioned integer. Okay, so if you want PHP to be strict with the data types, and some companies really need it because there are a lot of developers. When there is a very big project and it is very security driven project, suppose there is a banking software, there might be some other big things like you have Facebook using it. Now Facebook wants it to be very rock solid. They do not want PHP to do its brain work. They want their scientists, their developers to do the brain work and exactly fix everything there. So they might use strict data types, and thus it is very important. Okay, now we have understood arguments, we have understood strict data types. Got it. Next thing is return. Now, what is return? Return is basically there might be a function which does not print anything to your screen. Listen, declare helps with SQL injection. See, SQL injection and all these concepts are not related to declare. Declare is basically declaring, and declaring strict data type means that you are declaring that in the whole of that PHP file, all the data types are to be exactly as mentioned. No type juggling. If there is a typecasting, that would work. Type juggling would be banned. SQL injection is a very different thing. SQL injection works is an issue with MySQL or other kind of databases which are SQL based databases, and we inject some wrong information into it. It's a very different topic. Sometime we will discuss it. It is not the part of the current basics which we are studying right now. So you guys understood. We have return, as I was telling you. It went little off topic. So what is return? So suppose there is a function, it does not puts a print output. Basically, suppose there is a function, you pass a roll number to it, name to it, date of birth to it, father name to it, and it saves it to database. Okay. Now that function does not need to be printing anything because it's what its job is. Its job is to save data, not to print anything. Okay. So to get a feedback that a function has worked, we might need to return. We might need to return Boolean value, that true or false. Function if works good, true. If works bad, false. We might return some data. Okay. Suppose there is a function that calculates sum, that multiplies two integers. Okay. So let's create a small function with return. So suppose there is I'll just remove the strict data type. We'll use PHP smartness. So we'll create a function called addition. We'll just write it add. Okay. We will take $A, comma $B, and what we will return? We will return the sum of $A plus $B. Plus is an arithmetic operator which adds. Now, if I just echo, what to echo? Add, and I pass 1, 2. What should it echo? Everyone in the chat, what should it echo? I have passed 1, 2. This is your function. It takes two inputs, does A plus B, and returns the value. What it should give you as an output? Okay, Naveen Patel 3. What about other people? What should it give as an output? Okay, let's run it. 3. See? So this is how, good Shweta, this is how addition functions work. Or you can create any logic. See, this is how return works. This is how you return the data. So we know the strict, we now know how to add, take data inside the function, and we have learned how to declare a function. Function, arguments, and return. You can make returns also strict. You see, you declare strict types first of all, otherwise it would do type juggling. Even though you declare it, it would do type juggling. So type juggling would not make it properly strict. So to make it properly strict, we need to disable type juggling. This is how we disable it. Then we have written a function and we have written this semicolon and int. And there is an integer here also. See, you can write it here, here, you can write it both the places or at any of the place. What does that mean? That means, first of all, we'll declare it. Then, if I write int here, we'll do var dump so that we know what data type we are getting. Or dump. Okay. So I've written int here. So if you do this, still it is going to return you integer value. Let's refresh it. See. Or if you do it like this, do not mention it here, but you mention it here explicitly. Again, it would give you an integer value. And you can do it on the both places, at both the places simultaneously. It won't show you an error. Okay. So this is how we do strict data types in return. So now we have learned how to create functions, how to take arguments, how to take strict arguments, how to return a value, how to strictly return a value. Inside these functions, you can write any logic. You can do addition, division, uploading data, any complex business logic. You might create something out of the input data. Anything you can imagine, you can do. This is functions. Okay. Next topic is scopes. What is scope? Scope is basically you have a variable. Is that variable applicable to that specific location where you are or not is scope. I'll repeat. Scope is applicability or accessibility of a variable in any of the area. कहीं पे भी किसी भी जगह पे स्कोप जो है वो वेरिएबल की एक्सेसिबिलिटी को बताता है. A global scope means it's accessible to global. Everywhere it is accessible. A local scope means it is accessible in a specific bracket of local code, specific block of your large code. Static is little different. I'll teach you static at the end. Now this is local, this is global, this is local. You see, anything you declare inside a function is local. Anything you declare outside a function openly, it's global. But if you want anything inside a function to be global, to be accessible everywhere, then you need to mention it as unglobal. Everyone, you got it? We will do this local global right now. We'll create a new file called scopes. Now see this example I have just created. In this I have written x is equal to 1. If you try to echo x inside this function, echo $x, I'll call the function. As you all know, I have to call a function. The name of the file is scopes.php. Yeah. Variable x. So this, you can't access a variable which is not in your scope, but you can access a variable which is in your scope. So if I go in here, you can see I can access the variable. If you want your variable to be accessible, you need to write global inside it. Where is the comma? See, I actually wrote it at the wrong place. That's what I was looking at, that why it is showing you an error. So I'm sorry for the delay. But what I'm trying to show you is this is a variable of a global scope. It can't be accessed inside somewhere. To access it inside, you need to ask for the global variable. Second thing, if you want to make a variable which is localized, a global variable, you need to mention it as a global variable. As you see in the code, I was trying to access X, but I was not able to access it because it was a global variable. And to ask out for a global variable, you need to define it inside the local body that it is a global variable. Now, if I try to access Y, if I try to access Y here, it would throw me a very similar error. Undefined variable, undefined variable Y. Because I have not defined it as a global variable. You see it got 12. One is coming up from the previous one. I'll just disable it. You people got it? How many of you got default is a local scope? Is it correct? Yes, default is a local scope. So by default, we have local scope. We need to define global whenever we want to go global. And in case of static, there is a very, very different scenario. In case of static variables, these variables are not to be detected outside of the function. So suppose there is a variable which you do not want to be accessible in any case, either from the object or somewhere else, then you write static to it. Okay. So suppose you are creating a function. We'll go through this global local scope because it's a very, very complex thing. It gets a big chaos all the time. Okay. I'll go through it again. Right now I am writing code for you. You can check through the code. So suppose you wanted to write, suppose we had this dollar a that is equal to 1. Okay. And you wrote dollar a plus plus. Okay. And you echoed it. I'm just removing everything else from in here. I'll just comment it out, comment everything out. So in a function called adi, we have a value called a. Okay. And every time we want this value to be, repeated again and again. We want to access this value every time a function is changed. So normally what happens is, suppose you have a function called admissions. Okay. In an admission function you have a function called name. Okay. That function would be removed, all the data of that function would be removed after its execution. But suppose you have a function, inside a function you have a variable called roll number. Okay, we'll name it roll number so that you have an idea how it is applicable in real life. So what you all want is, whenever we are creating a new student, we want to increase the roll number for the next one. But whenever you call a function, the variable gets erased. Suppose this is the case, and I will run adi as a function. Roll number. Yeah. So I'll run the adi function and it would give me 2. Any times I'll refresh it, it will give me 2 only. Even though we have written roll number plus plus, it is giving us only 2. That is it. But we want that every time the function is called, roll number increases. So to achieve that functionality, we write static. What static does, it stores the variable in the memory for the period of the process, the whole period, the whole time. A new location is created, a static location is created, it is stored there. So now if I just go and refresh it, yeah, I guess this is giving some glitch. Yeah, this is the way. You see, actually refreshing not works because while you refresh, your paste session expires. As I told you, PHP is an interpreter. It removes all the data after one compilation. So suppose you called adi for the first time for 1%, then you called adi again. I'll just try to remove static so that we have an idea again. You see, all are 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Every time I call the function, it gives you the roll number 1. But if you put static in front of it and you refresh it, it changes the roll number every day. So to achieve this functionality, to store the data after the function has completed, to store a variable even after a function has executed, everything has been done, we use static. Now I will go here, I'll repeat everything again because I know there is a fuss, and fuss was created because I wrote global wrong also. So that might also create confusion for all of you. Number one, by default, local is there. Number two, local means anything in a specific block of code. Suppose there is a function that is a block of code. Suppose you put a two angular bracket openly, it's a block of code. Suppose there is a class, there is an object, there is an array, it's a specific block of code. Any variable declared inside a block of code is locally there. You can't access it. Okay, any function can't access anything of outside. To do that, what you need to do is you need to add it into global. How to make it global? Very easy. Just put global in front of the variable as shown here. To access a variable of outside, x was declared outside, it is localized outside the function, it is not available inside the function. We have declared y inside the function, and if I don't put global in front of them, I can't access them. Well, I can access y inside the function, but I can't access y outside the function. So if you want to make any variable a globally accessible variable, a variable that is accessible to every function, everything on that page, you need to put global. Next, we have scope is static. Static does a very small thing. It statically stores a variable. Statically storing means you have a variable, you want it to be used again and again. You don't want a data to be removed every time you call the function. So to save the data changes after a function, you want to keep it same, you use static. I hope you got it. Please put yes in the chat. Okay, some people are saying my video is not available. I think camera has been stopped. Okay, my video, was it not available from the beginning? Oh, oh, I actually forgot to show you the video. Very sorry for that. I hope you guys got the static. Should global act should be declared before line 2. Before line 2. Okay, before line 2. Yes, you can declare it there also. You can declare it outside also. Yes, you can. No, just in the middle. You can declare it outside also. Basically, the idea is every variable by default is a local variable. As simple as that. If you guys get it. Every variable which is being used is protected is local, public is global, and private is static. Private one is not that comparable because even private, I think you are deriving this logic from C++. I think you're deriving it from C++. So if you are deriving this logic from C++, then static is not equivalent to private. See, in the private, it gets removed. All the variables get removed. Static basically means it statically stores in the backend. Okay. Anytime you run the function, throughout the whole process, it works in. Okay. So protected is local. It is kind of true because protected has some other features also, and that's not available in local actually. You can pretty much say local is private because no one outside the local body can access it, and global is public. That's very good reference. You can change it. Local is private, static is static. It's its own type. and public is global. If you go wanna go that way, I think you guys understood the scopes. If you have understood the scopes, please tell me yes. And if you have not, please directly ask the question or the point where you lost it. Okay, I think everyone got it. The next part is validation. Now we have covered almost all the topics, important topics in PHP. We are going for validation. These would be used very soon. So I'll tell you these functions or these parameters which you can understand, and you can use these parameters for validation purposes. And we will understand these using examples, and that's why I have not written much here. First thing is $server PHP self. What it does is it shows you the name of the current file. Okay, let's do it. We will create a new file called validation. This is a new file called validation. In this file, what we do is we will write these all the functions and we will check. Okay. The first thing is we will echo this. First thing, $server PHP self. Dollar server PHP this is the syntax. This should give you the current file name. What is the current file name? Validation.php. I'll zoom in also. If you guys can't see, then I'm zooming in for those who can't see. Validation.php. Validation.php. We'll go to the browser. We will refresh it. Validation. I should copy the name from there. See, it gave you the name of the file. Okay. Next one is request method. Now, whenever we post, whenever we get, this will tell you the method. And for that, we need to post or get. So I'll show you it later on while we'll doing our next or further exercise. Then there is called trim. Okay, what trim does is, suppose you have a list of you've got a string. It might have spaces in the front or end. Okay, what trim does, it removes the spaces. Okay, let's see what it does. So suppose there is a variable called $a. We have written spaces are the spaces. Okay, we will do var dump and we will write $a. Now we will use trim function and we'll try to dump it. Okay, we'll do var dump, then we'll use trim function, then we will put $a inside. Let's see what's the result. First thing, it's a 11-digit string. Why? Because it has a lot of spaces in the left, in the right. But in this case, it's a 3-digit string, 3 character. Very sorry to say digit. three character string. Because trim function, what it did is remove the spaces from left or right side. That's what trim does. Then we have strip slashes. Now these two, strip slash and HTML special characters, is very relevant to someone's question there in the chat was SQL injection, I think. What was his name? Can I check? Naveen. Naveen, you asked about SQL injection. Na? So this is one of the tactics we use to save ourselves from SQL injection. Okay, so strip slashes, what it does is, suppose you have any slash, you have double quotes, or you might have other things which are relevant to SQL. You get it? These are also used in SQL, and they might portray some information which we do not want to do, which we'll learn in very soon. We'll make a very small project very soon. So we'll learn it, how it works. Okay. So suppose you pass a double quote, you pass a single quote, you pass anything which might be useful or which might be meaningful to SQL, we will strip it. Then we have HTML special characters. What it does is, suppose you have written angular bracket. Okay. Now, there might be a case that you just wrote angular bracket, but it might convert itself into a tag. You do not want to do that. Or it might save itself inside, you know, SQL and inject something into our databases. So to save ourselves from HTML based injections, we use HTML special characters. So these two are validations for, or these two are measures, I would say, to save ourselves from SQL injection. Pure, you are asking PER. I think it is not a core PHP topic. I think it is kind of a package or something, if I am remembering properly. It is not a core PHP topic, I think. Yeah, peer is not a core PHP topic. Peer is something you would use as a library or as a helping hand. It's not related to core PHP. Okay, so we were there on this string. Then I told you about this one called splashes. STRIP. And suppose we write inverted commas slash a this. Now these things have to be removed. I'll echo it so that you have a clean view of it. You see, one thing it has added is dash in front of it. So this one, it would add strip slashes would strip out all the unnecessary data. So in this, actually, I am not adding any data because it's inside the PHP itself. So I can't actually add any wrong characters here. I'll show it in the practical when we are doing forms, because I think I can't add any wrong because I wanted to add double quotes. That's not possible here. Single quotes would work anyways. So what splits these two I will show you directly while we will save from SQL injection. Pair is too short. short for PHP extension application is a structure library to open source code in PHP user. Yes, as you have written, it's an extension application repository. So purpose of the peer is to provide a following a structured library for open source PHP users. So yes, this is a extension, and as from the definition, I could tell you that it helps you structure an open source project of a PHP. Basically, you have folder structure. It helps you with that. PHP post data, PHP get data. I have told you yesterday. So I think you have got an idea. Actually, I could not show you a practical about split splashes. Uh, Let me try to do HTML one. HTML special character one. Hopefully this one shows up. Okay. So in it would work on forms, I think. Okay. Then I'll show you while we will do the strip slash function is misspelled. No, it is not misspelled, my friend. S T STRIP. See, it is not misspelled. It's correctly written there. I'll show you it in with the forms. I'm not able to run it right now. Or I'll try to check if I have a suitable example from somewhere like any online compiler. Wait, I'll check it for you. Uh, what is it? It is strip, right? Yeah, online compilers are also giving you this. Uh, yeah, they're using it in the front end basically, using it with the front end data. So I'll also use it with the front end data. Okay, I'll show you with that with an front end example. But why C after strip? Oh, is that so? Let me check if it is so. Yeah, the thing is, it is still doing the same thing. These two are. I've written it right. I can check it again. I have checked it again and again. It works with the front end data. Basically, the data you get from the user, we use it with that data. So I'll give you example from that data itself. I was trying to give you an example, a random example, but we'll give you an example. I'll show you all of this. Okay, I checked it from the source also. Okay, so now we have read a few things. We'll go through them and then I'll take you to the project. And in the project, I'll teach you this validation. I actually came to this validation. Try this. Okay. You're saying, acha, this is a good example. Nice. Is your name O'Reilly? Ah, this is a good example. Nice. Good job. Let me try to copy it. Let's try to use the example he has presented to us. We are using the example here. Let's see if it works. Okay, see, in this case, it is working. It is stripping the slashes basically. This slash has been stripped. This is how SQL injections actually are stopped. Thanks for the example, Naveen. Thanks for the example. This is how strip slash splashing works. I'll give you an other examples. Suppose you input some data in a specific format and it would give you an error inside SQL. But if we use these functions, if we strip all the things, you will not get all the errors. Okay. And again, thanks Naveen for this good example. Then now we will move towards our project. Now we have approximately 1 hour with us, and we'll create a small project. There are very few things in this project, and you have to know certain technologies and certain things. I hope you all have installed XAMPP server because I want you to work with me in conjunction with me. And I have not created it yet. I'll create it here in front of all of you. What we are going to do in that project. We're gonna use Bootstrap, we're gonna use PHP, we're gonna use MySQL if possible. What we're going to make? We're gonna make a very simple, very easy feedback form. Now a lot of people might ask what is Bootstrap. Bootstrap is basically a CSS library which helps you make beautiful websites. So what I will do is I'll first of all go to Bootstrap 5. This is a documentation. Every person uses documentation. You do not need to hard learn it. Okay, these syntax are not to be hard learned. The thing is, you should have an understanding, and you should know how to create business logics. If you are a backend developer, you should know how to make loops or how to use loops to create business logic. If you don't know the syntax or if you forget the syntax, you can easily go to internet, you can search it. No one is going to stop you from using, documentation, Stack Overflow, anything. The thing is, you need to have an understanding how to write algorithm, how to use a for loop. Suppose someone told you to create some solution of a problem, you should have an understanding. Okay, I'll create a for loop, I'll define it as a variable, I'll do this, do this logic, and this would be the output. Now even if you write syntax wrong, it would show you error, you will easily remove the error and the things would be done. The same goes for Bootstrap. You can easily go to the documentation of Bootstrap. You can copy the documentation. The thing is, you should have an understanding over the classes Bootstrap provides. Okay, so now we will start with our project. So first of all, we'll create a very small file. We'll create an HTML file. Let's call it. Okay, there is an index.php, I think here now. Yes, we will remove this index from here. We will create a new project inside the index.php. First thing is we are getting CSS from the Bootstrap. This is the CSS. Second thing is we are getting JavaScript from the Bootstrap. Okay, all the comments, this is unnecessary. This is not needed. This is the title we will write, feedback form. Very easy. Now, first of all, we'll go to the localhost index page. There is nothing in here. But you see the title is added, feedback form is added. Now what we will do is, we'll go to Bootstrap, we will search for nav bar. Nav bar is the stop bar. This is an example of it. We'll use a very easy peasy nav bar. Let's use this one. Okay. Now in here we will write feedback form. Let's write it home. It would look better. We will refresh it. Uh, some issue. You see, we have added a nav bar, we have added home. I'll just write a shadow here, and that would add a shadow. See, shadow is added. Then we will create a division with the container, and I'll create a form, check from form from here. Let's go to the forms. Let's take these floating label forms. These are new types of form. These look very good. Okay. First of all, we will create a small post form. Inside the form, we will write it later on. We will put it in here. Okay. So we are taking an email address. We will not take password. We'll just take name. Everyone try to make what I am making. If you have any issue, put it in the chat. I'll help you out with that. Then what you need is this, a comment box. We call it text area. Actual name is, and then we will add We'll add a block button, a big button, this kind of button. See, we have something like this created. We'll make changes. We'll make it look better. So first of all is we need margin from the top. Empty 4. This gives us a very good margin. We need a border. We need background. See, then we might need padding up top and bottom. So PY. We might need more padding. So we might need like this, this. We only need one button, that is submit button. Are you guys following up with me? Remove one button. Yeah, I'll remove. You guys are following with me? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. You guys able to follow up with me? Or I am very fast? I should slow a little bit. You guys are following up. I can't get anyone in the chat, I think. So we are making a project. We are creating a front end very quickly using Bootstrap. We will have a small form. First of all, we copied the code from Bootstrap for documentation. Then we added emails. For that, we searched what? Floating. I'll show you all of it again if you miss out somewhere. If you're not getting anything, you just type it in the chat. This is the submit button we have. This is, I'll just change it. We want a name here. So we have name, email, feedback, submission. Very easy. We can make it look even better. So now you see corners are a bit rounded. This is name, this is email, this is feedback, and you submit it. It's a very, very small form. Okay. I'll just show you the whole thing. First of all, you need to open, first of all, you need to go to Google and you search Bootstrap 5. First link would come, introduction. Go here, copy the starters template. Okay. Then you need to search nav. That is nav bar. Nav bar is the top bar. Go there, whichever bar you like. First, I liked this one, but I thought this is not looking good. So I changed it to this one. This was a bit better for me. Then I went to floating. So floating labels. There are different type of form available, different design. I like this design. This is a very beautiful design for creating forms. And this is a text box. I took this text box. You just need to copy it from here. If you want it, you copy it from here. It is very easy. Then what I did is I added shadow. I did it rounded, gave it a border, gave it a background. You can go back and forth into the video. If you do not get it, you can always see how I punched it in. Okay. So this is a small, very small feedback form which I have created. You just need to type here your name, your email, and your feedback, and you will submit it. What should happen is it should go and save somewhere. How many of you are interested to follow up on MySQL, or you think this is already going too heavy for you? I just want to know how many of you want to follow up to MySQL. How many of you want to follow up to MySQL, or otherwise we'll just submit it and show the data? Okay, you will like to follow up. You understood this part. You can create this UI. It's not that difficult. I have not used any dramatic things. You got this? So let's follow up to MySQL. You need to type localhost, then you will type PHP my admin. Okay. Yeah, it is very straightforward. Till now, if you are following me, you can create a form better than me. You might be a better designer than me. You might have created it more beautifully. So you open this link, localhost PHP my admin. Then you click on new. We create a new database. Everyone type localhost PHP myadmin, press enter, click on new, and come here. You guys understood? Then you type the name. You can have any name as you like. I'll give it a name called feedback, and I'll create it. How to create it? Just click on this button. Feedback database created. Now I will create a new table. How to create a new table? You just type the name feedback. How many data I have to store? Name, email, feedback. That is it. I might like to store IDs. Okay. Every feedback has its own ID. So we will take 4 and we'll create it. First is ID. Everything has its own ID. Then we will have name. Everything I'll try to keep it small. Name. Then we have email. Then we have feedback. Everyone went till table. You are there on this page with me. Just type yes. This is all graphical interface. We are not using SQL. We are using the beautiful graphical interface which we get. Are you guys there with me? Okay, nice. Then we will choose ID as integer, name as varchar, and we'll type like a name can be like what? Let's 255. They are really long names, so it can be 255 characters. Email can be varchar. Again, we will write 255. Feedback. Let's say people might write essays in feedback. You might write a long big list that Adi sir, you are this, you are that, I need to know this, I need to know that, and you might make a big long thing. So for that we will just write like 1,000. Okay, so we will not touch with the defaults. You can do it if you know. Then we will go here in the ID section, and there is one thing called AI. AI means auto increment. Like we had na X plus plus is the same thing in MySQL. New query comes in, increase it. I'll tick it up. You are on with it. Feedback in type. No, no, no. अच्छा हाँ हाँ. Where can कर देते हैं जी. Thank you. You can do varchar, or you can even go for the text. And in text, you not even need to mention the data type. I'm saying data. You don't even need to mention the length. So let's go for the text. You would have multiple data types which you would have been in. You don't even need to put in mention in the length. So we have integer, we have varchar, we have text. I think you have done with it. Are you there with me? Just type yes in the chat that you have made this table. You have clicked on AI button and this is done. So this is our table. Now we'll go to our file. In the file, you see from here we will write submit submit.php. Okay. Now everyone would create this file submit.php. Oh, there is already one created, so I'll use that one. You guys create. In this file, you need to write all this code. So server name is localhost, username would be root, password by default XAMPP has no password, and DB name whatever name of the database. I had feedback. See, F E double D. Oh, I wrote F E double D. See, so I will use this one now. I did a I did a mistake. Go to home databases. I wrote FE double D, so I'll use this one. This is my database name. Then there is the first MySQL part, that is connection. We are using new MySQLi MySQL new connection with the server name localhost, with the username root, with the password no password, with the database feedback. Very easy. Then we have written if we connected and we got a connection error, we have to die. Die means basically it's exit function. It's a function to exit out, and it is used in case of errors. Sir, what is the purpose of new? New is to create new. To create a new MySQLi function. New MySQL, these, okay, let me give you an idea how it is working. So all of these things like var dump you use, trim you use, or any other inbuilt function you use, these are functions. The way you create a function, these are pre-created and saved inside the PHP by default. So new MySQL I would do is it would create a new instance of that function. That is it. Then we are using SQL. Now, not lot of people have an understanding of SQL, and I can understand it. But SQL is very easy. We are using only one thing here: insert into. And rather than doing that, I'll show you a very easy way. Just go to feedback, click on SQL, then click here on insert. Everyone has followed me. Follow me up. Click on your table, click on SQL, click on insert. Then you remove this ID and you remove this all of these values from here. Remove, copy it, insert into. I'm explaining you the SQL query. Insert into, where to insert? Into the feedback table. What to insert? Name, email, feedback. Okay. So we are inserting name, email, feedback into feedback table. Okay. So we have copied it. We'll just paste it here. Now we will write there are three: name, email, feedback. So we'll write name here, email here, feedback here. Okay. Then this is a very small function. If connection SQL query is equal to true, then new record created successfully. So rather than that, we'll write feedback submitted. Otherwise, we'll write this error SQL connection error. What I will do is I'll share this code to you. And before that, we need to look for a few things here. We need to gather the information of post. As I told you, equal to means without looking for types. Triple equal to means looking for types. Okay. So equal to, if it is right, if it is boolean, if it is integer, or if it is string, and it is giving you one in string, one in integer, or two in boolean, it would work for three cases. But triple equal to means it should be true in boolean. So as we all should understand that query subfunction of the connection always gives us boolean value. So triple equal to is also right. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we have to use all that validation I have taught you. Okay. So what we will do is the first thing we will do is we will validate. What to validate? Server request method is post. We will only work with post. Or what we should do is we should go one step even further. We should make sure if email is submitted, then only we will process. Okay. So what we would do is set, what is set dollar post, and what inside the post? Email. Then only all of this would work. I hope all of you have created this. If you have, do tell me yes. There are a few things which we would now use to map data or to transfer data from the front end to this back end. We will map the data from the front end to the back end, and we have to make those changes. Before we make these changes, I'll just paste the code in the chat. Okay, I think I have not paid it. I don't know how many character it allows. Okay, so I can't send you the whole code on chat. So I think you have created this. Then we will go to our index.php file, and here we need to add names. So I'll write name here. Then I'll write name email here. Then I'll write name feedback here. Name email feedback. Now we'll go to the submit page. As we have now got post email with us, we will now define dollar email equals to dollar post email. Then we will make name, and then we will make feedback. Name, email, feedback. I think it is very easy. Name, email, feedback. We have stored all the data here. Now we will do is we'll add dollar name, email, feedback. I hope you have done all of this. If you have done it, just put yes in the chat. People who are following me up with me, have you created this file? Have you written all of this? Till this, everything is done. Just put yes or no in the chat. And then we will move for the part where we will save ourselves from injection, SQL injection. Okay. So as I mentioned you, in the validation page, we will use trim, we will use strip slash, we will use HTML special characters to save ourselves from SQL injection. And I'll try to do it in a single line. Okay, so I'll write trim, strip slash, and HTML special character to the variable. How to do that? First of all, I'll add a bracket outside them. First function is trim. Second function is strip slash. Third function is HTML special character. You see trim, strip slash, and HTML special character. I've added all the necessary functions to stop SQL injection. I'll just add it to all the variables here. I hope you get these lines. All these three lines, I hope you get it. I've added trim function inside, I've added strip slash function inside it, I have added HTML special character function. Are you guys following up? Just put yes in the chat and we'll go and try to check have we created it right. If there would be error, we'll solve it. I've made a project with you guys. We have together created a project. Just put it in the chat if you have completed this part. Trim strip slash HTML special character. Have you guys created it, or I have to wait some time for you to complete this part? Are you guys there? Should we move forward? Waiting for your replies. So now we have used post, trim, special character. We have created a bootstrap form. We have created a MySQL database. We have used PHP. Let's try to check if our form is working. And if it is not, what is the issue? First thing is I'll write the name. Then I'll write an email. Then I will write the data. We are having SQL exception. Insert into feedback. What is exception? Near new mail at gmail.com. Okay, let's see what's the exception coming up. Okay. Feedback has been submitted. We'll go to the browse section. One Yash new mail data. Everyone got this? One more thing I'll add today. As you guys are using Bootstrap, it gives you validations, front end based validations. How to utilize them? You just need to put require here. That means name is required. If you put require here, that means email is required and it should be correct. And third part is text area. So you will write require here and the text area will be required. Okay, so you just need to add require everywhere. As soon as you add these three here, you will get a new form of validation. Now, if you try to submit it, what it would show is please fill in the form. See, okay, I filled in the name. Then, if you put it again, fill the email. Okay, A, B, C. See, you need to add at the rate, which is missing, and dot is missing. Okay, at the rate. Can I submit? See, dot is missing. So if I write like this, there is a space here. So all kind of email verification is done here. Then if I try to submit, again it would say you have to write the feedback. And as you click on submit now, it would go there, feedback submitted. If you go to the MySQL, new data is added. And one more thing, ID automatically increments. Now it has two. Yash had one ID. Aditya now has ID number two. I hope you all are able to make this very small project. I know you guys can make it more beautiful. The submit part where you have submitted the form, that could be made more beautiful. You might reroute to the main page, you might show up the form. So suppose you want to reroute the user to some other page after the form is submitted. For that, what you have to do is you just go to submit, and as here you will write HEA header. In there you will write location. Then you will write whatever is the place for the header. Suppose I want to send it to index after it submits. So I'm doing it. Let's see it sends me or not. See, data has been submitted and it sends me back to the home page. You can write more of business logic, anything. You might want to submit the form when he comes back. You might write a logic to show some pop-up. You can do a lot more. This is the basic course. Now we have some time in our hand to get through all the topics we have finished. Any topic if you didn't understand, any function if you didn't understand, whatever I have taught today, I've taught functions, I've taught scopes, I have yesterday taught a lot of things like loops. In the first day we discussed about variables. Some people were saying they had issues with installer. Any issue you had throughout this course, you can ask it now. We have few minutes with us, and then we'll play a small game if possible, if the team has it. I don't know if team has it or not. I'll ask the team. If they have the game with us, we'll play the game again. So anyone, if you have any doubts, please put it in the chat. We have few minutes with us. Do we have any validation that would check if email really exists in real world or not? Uh, Checking the email if it really exists, you can't do it practically. First of all, because you would need a lot of you know you might need a mailing server ready for that. Basically, mailing, you have to go for a mailing DNS and you have to check for the mailing DNS records. Okay, so for that you might need to try to send a mail to that person, and then you will check. On the contrary, what we do and what companies globally do to check if email is valid in real world is, you see, every app you open, you put your email, they send you a OTP. So if your mail does not exist, you won't get the OTP and you won't be able to sign up. So there is no other way to check it out, because sometimes some mail IDs are not even on the DNS, mailing DNS. Yes. Any other question? I hope you have created this project. If you have not, please tell me. I will show you the PPT again if you want to uh, do a recap on these topics or any other topic which we have studied till now. Let it be loops, let it be scope, function, validation, this project we have created, MySQL, or something you want to know about PHP. Someone was asking how good is PHP or not. Any project you are building, you can ask. And I would also like to ask the team if you have anything going like a game or something, you can tell me.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Is my voice coming?
Yes, yes, you are audible
So,
now.
so yeah. So, are you done, sir? So can we start the game?
Yeah, I'm done. We can start the game for today.
Yeah.
It's in the PPT, Rana.
So yeah, guys. So again, we are here for the Kahoot. We will play it again, and yeah, the first one, the toppest one will get the shout out on Instagram. The yesterday topper and today's topper will together get the shout out after the session gets over. So please, let's start the game. So I will share my screen and I will share the code.
Okay, so everyone is ready for the game.
Guys, please go to the Kahoot.it or you can scan the QR. I will put the game pin on the chat box also. So please, you can scan here or you can go to the Kahoot.it and use this pin and get into the game. And also, once again, I will tell you that please try to log in with your Instagram ID so we get the access of your, means we can easily get your Insta ID and we can give the shout out to the winner.
I will provide it in the same link. Raj Shankar, all the project, everything you have learned in the whole course would be available on the same link.
Guys, the game pin have been shared in the chat box also. You can get from there also.
So, buddies, let's connect. All the students, I'll request you all, just take this code or scan the QR and join the game. As the last day, let's see who is the winner, who has learned the most about PHP. And this time, even I have not designed the test, they have designed the test. It's a test for me also, ki how many people I have trained well enough that they score good.
Have everyone joined? Please let me know in the comment box if everyone is done. It's not like the Raj.
Okay, so if you want to learn more any queries, you can always ping me on my LinkedIn or any other social media. It has the same username, same handle everywhere.
Guys, can we start the game? Yeah. So I think everyone has joined. So let's start the game, guys. Try to answer it with the minimum seconds you can. What is the purpose of the PHP function?
Nice, nice. Yesterday we started this function. It's a good job by the team.
Which PHP function is used to con- concatenate two strings? Concatenate. Guys, so third question. Which loop is best suited when you want to iterate over the elements of an array in PHP?
Yes. Which one is to be used when you want to iterate over the elements? The best one. There is a specific loop for it.
What is the purpose of the break statement in PHP? 16, 15. Guys, fast. 10,
10, 9, 8, 7,
6,
6, 5,
5.
4, 3, 2, 1. Next.
Which of the following is used to handle user input in PHP forms? 15.
How would you handle a input? How would you check in the backend? We just did in the project. I showed you all of them.
What is the purpose of return statement in a function?
What's the purpose of return statement in a function?
What is the purpose of the include statement in PHP?
Yeah, this one is little tricky. I think if you have studied well, because we didn't use it much, we didn't even use it in the project. But if you know, you can answer.
Next, last one, guys. How do you access an element in an array? 4, 3, 2, 1. Raj Sarkarism.
Raj Shankar, best of
Okay.
luck. You'll get a shout out today on the Instagram.
The song again. Oh, so Soham, you will get the shout out on Instagram page. So after the session, you will get it. And yeah, congratulations for the that you have won this game. And yeah, the session is over. Also, I guess. We can wind up, right?
Yes,
Yes. So guys, see
yes, we
you
can wind up
in
for
the next
today.
Essentials Bootcamp, which is React. We are launching it tomorrow. So, sir, do you want to say anything to our students?
No, I just would say that if you have any doubts, which I hope there are none, uh, you can always ping me in. And thank you very much for joining with us on this small little boot camp. This was a very beginner boot camp. So thank you very much for the whole boot camp. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Someone is saying, what about certificates? This is what you have to ping in with the Let's Upgrade team. Go to the website, they will tell you.
Guys,
Aman
you will
ma'am,
get the certificate in our one link itself. Go to our one link. You will get the certificate to generate right beside the progress bar. अच्छा.
okay, आप लोग आराम कर लो. Sir, I have a question. When we know, when we start Laravel. Okay, if I am going to teach Laravel, that's what you want to ask. Which will be the next bootcamp from your side, sir? From my side, well, this is on Let's Upgrade when they ask me to start any other language or maybe whatever they ask for it. It's on Let's Upgrade. Uh, it's in the PPT. You should study. I will recommend na. If you download the PPT, you will get it in the end on the thanking page. It's there. Maybe you will study. At least download the PPT for that reason. मतलब कब से लार्वल स्टार्ट करना है आफ्टर नोइंग PHP. Now you have done beginner. I think you should learn a little bit about HTML and CSS, JavaScript. Ajax is important. There is a lot of things in the MySQL side. So try to get more information. This was a beginner course. This was to get you ready, get you inside the PHP camp. Now you are in the camp. You can learn it more, experience it more, and as you have a understanding, you can build a small product. Like you can easily create a website that runs, submits form, and everything. So if you can create a small website, then move to Laravel because Laravel is used to manage projects. The basic idea behind Laravel is that it helps you manage the project. After OOP start कर दें, I don't know what you tried to say. You wanted to say OOP, so object oriented programming के course के बाद. I have no idea when I'll start. I have no idea for that. Boot camp ऐसे ही होता है क्या paid version? See all of these queries, how paid boot camps work, how non-paid work. They're all available on the website of Let's Upgrade, or you can call or text Let's Upgrade for that. They will tell you in greater detail. There obviously would be more benefits when you have a paid bootcamp. You will get one of the things you get is direct interaction. That is, you can use your mic and video as well as you can share a screen. So these are little bit benefits. Which is the next better than PHP for backend? Well, as I have told you on the first day, it's everything is situational. All the products are built on the basis of situations. Everything is situational. Nowadays, banks don't like to use PHP, truthfully speaking. Why they don't like to use PHP? Because there are some management things that are not available with PHP. Because there is no very big, large conglomerate associated with PHP. Okay, so suppose you have like maybe you have used MongoDB. Now MongoDB works best with React, with the Node.js. So PHP is gone off. Maybe there is a specific database choice, and because of that, your whole stack changes. So it is all based on situations. I'm not saying PHP is the best. I'm not saying PHP is bad for banking. Let me tell you, there are a lot of banking systems that have used PHP. Hmm. Someone asked what is next better than PHP for backend. I don't. That's what I think I answered. I can't comment anything about a specific technology. I love all of them. Actually, I have learned almost all technologies. I've learned Node.js, React. I learned, you know, Angular. I've learned PHP. I've studied all of them. So I myself don't discriminate. I won't ask you. Don't ask you to do the same. Learn everything. I think it's time to, I guess, end the session. I think I'll ask the backend team to close off. Thank you very much. This is the end for boot camp, 3 year boot camp. I said 3 year. It is 3 days. Okay. I think I need to take rest now. Bye bye everyone. Thank you very much.